right, Emery, I called your raise. What do you have?
Full house. Jacks over sevens.
3 kings. Straight to 7.
Full house. Aces over 8s.
Can you beat that?
I already did.
I know you did. Now I can see why this guy grabbed all the marbles over in Australia.
Not all the marbles.
Alex Demery? It can't be.
All the way from the United States. It's official, Eric. We've been invaded.
Charles Oakland himself.
I'm going to have to pass. On the hand and on the proposition.
You can't pass.
I can't. Perhaps I'm old, but I like things the way they are.
Now, who's that heavyweight? We've got to find out.
But he's got to turn around sometime.
Why don't we have another drink, gentlemen?
Eric, he's turning. Damn.
What's the matter?
Bloody butler got in the way.
My private stock. The best.
Of course.
Mr. Oakland, I know that our proposition will be, not could be, but will be, very beneficial for everyone here, you as well as us. I wish you'd reconsider.
It won't change my mind. I feel very strongly about this country.
You wanted gin?
Getting any of the chat?
A little. But I've got to get a direct shot into that cabin. At the moment, I'm picking up the generators and everything else on that boat.
Well, we can't get any closer. Well, they've got to be armed to the teeth.
But what they're saying might be just the arms we need. I got to give it a try. You can stay here.
Any place you can go, I can go, mate.
Right.
I think my friend Alfie here may have misrepresented what we have in mind, Mr. Oakland.
My appraisal of you, Mr. Dever, doesn't rely on anything Mr. Donnelly has said. You are, after all, famous.
I'm a hard worker. I'm also a man of my word. Anybody that ever worked with me will tell you that.
Those that can talk, you mean?
You've been listening to the wrong people.
What do you know about Sydney Harbour, Mr. Demery?
Nice looking piece of real estate.
Yes, on the surface, all beautiful and serene. Just below the surface, there's another story. Right here, where we lie anchored, we're in the center of what's probably the most concentrated breeding ground for sharks in the world. What do you think of that?
I'd get rid of them.
How? Once they decide they like a place, they make it their own. Now, if we could have kept the first shark out.
I'm beginning to get the drift.
I thought you.
I guess we count him out.
He's old. He won't be around much longer anyway.
Good night, gentlemen. Charlie? Mr. Long, will you see us to shore?
Man's got style. And guts. Call the lodge. I'll be leaving too.
We haven't completed our business.
It seems to me that there are 3 serious obstacles to our arrangement, Alfie. The 2 gentlemen in this boat and that police inspector, Superintendent Caldwell. He's cost us a fortune every time we try to set up in Australia.
If those are the only problems we have, we'll be talking very soon.
No offense, Alfie, but I think you might be in over your head. Still, you give a nice party. See ya.
Sorry to break up the party.
Maybe you're just the man to put it back together.
I don't think you understood me. I'm not interested in seeing you people come to Australia. I like things the way they are. And I get things the way I like.
Blasted engines. Can't hear a thing.
What is it? What's the matter with you? Charles!
Hey, stop this thing! Somebody get my hand!
Oh, God.
What happened?
Someone's gone overboard. Eric, what'll we do? I mean, we could help.
We can't help.
Well, they're not trying to help, and if they don't hurry...
Hurry before he drowns!
Turn it around.
Hurry! Hurry!
I wouldn't put my arms out of the launch if I were you.
Shark!
Oh, my God. I think I'm going to be sick. Eric, it's a feeding frenzy if we don't get out of here quickly. Eric, we've got to get out of here.
The equipment.
Eric, no! Eric, for God's sake, forget the equipment! No! Eric, we're on the boat!
Jenny, get me out! Monique, it's hurting. Please, what happened?
Oh, God. Eric, don't look down. Darling, just lie back in the boat. I'm going to have to tie a rope around your leg. With all due respect, Superintendent, I don't think I can take this kind of special police work any longer. I just don't know whether the whole thing is really worth it.
How close did he come?
Too close.
How's your mother, sir?
Oh, she's fine. She was just in for tests.
We're going right to headquarters now, sir?
Go, Buckley, to my home and then to the airport. I'm flying to the United States.
Mr. John Aronson, white courtesy phone, please.
Now, the commissioner will be here any minute, so keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. Visiting dignitaries can do more to screw up a good police career than anything I know, even though the dignitary is a cop. So watch what you say and do. You're walking on political eggshells.
Passengers from Central Airlines Flight 16. Your plane will leave from gate 7A, not 7B.
You feeling all right, officer?
Operator.
Security, please.
Security.
This is Officer McCloud checking in.
Hi, McCloud. Did you see Officer Murphy? Haven't heard from him for quite a while.
Oh, how long's it been?
More than half an hour. Any problems down there?
Well, it's quiet as a church mouse here.
Could you go over to Big Concourse and check?
Yeah, sure. I'll run over there and see if I can find him.
10-4.
Are we entitled to know why this big mucky-muck is coming into New York?
Just think of it as another one of those exchange programs.
Does that mean you're going to Australia?
Don't I wish? Anything to get away from.
United Flight 108 to Miami, Florida.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Officer McCloud here. Would you give me security, please?
This is Officer McCloud.
Well, I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
Excuse me just a minute, would you, Chief? Has anything turned up yet? Oh, well, I'll just keep looking.
I guess it's cry. For a minute, I thought you might be catching a plane to Taos.
No, this is my week for airport detail. One of our officers is missing.
Missing?
Yeah, checked in, haven't heard from him in over an hour.
What airline terminal?
Well, this one. That's why I came over here to see if I could be of some help. So far, I haven't seen hide nor hair of him.
Probably reading a magazine, the John.
Must be something awful special up to get you out here.
Oh, just a routine greeting for some Australian cop. Oh, but the commissioner will be here, so keep a low profile, huh?
There you go.
Officer McCloud, white courtesy phone, please. Officer McCloud, white courtesy phone, please.
This is McCloud. You got a call for me?
I have security.
McCloud here.
Report of a disturbance.
Where?
Men's room, B concourse.
What level?
Level 1.
I'm on my way.
Qantas Flight 137 from Sydney, Australia via Los Angeles, California has docked at Gate 3. Miss Robertson, please contact 15.
Sorry I'm late, Pete. Got stuck in the traffic. Caldwell here yet?
Outside, let's go. Come on, outside. Outside. What's up? Get away there. Let's go. Move back.
Superintendent Caldwell.
Yes.
Chief Clifford. Hope you had a nice flight.
Yes, thank you.
That's Commissioner Larson, sir.
How do you do? Nice meeting you, sir.
Shall we go, gentlemen?
25.
This is McCloud. We got a dead cop on our hands. Get the coroner's unit over here as fast as you can. All the security you can spare.
Get down! Everybody get down! Get those people behind cover! Take cover! And have them clear the area.
Chief?
Commissioner?
Anybody here who is a doctor?
Damn shame. I tell you, McCloud, ordinarily I don't care much for commissioners, but that was one good man.
Yeah?
Why'd they do it? What do they think they accomplished?
Well, I've come to the conclusion that crimes don't have to make sense anymore.
Oh, yes, I keep forgetting that.
Do you suppose that the commissioner wasn't the target, that it was the superintendent from Australia?
That makes even less sense than killing the commissioner. Who'd know about Caldwell here? Who'd care enough about his visit to want him dead?
Well, I suppose that depends upon what he was doing here.
Well, from what I can ascertain, it was strictly an exchange of information on organized crime. Of course, the only person that can really tell us that is the commissioner, and he's dead.
Caldwell can't? He didn't make it?
He died en route to the hospital. Now, the Sydney Police Department isn't taking this too well. It seems the superintendent was some kind of super cop. Oh, they made a special request of us. They want you to fly back with the body.
Me?
You were the only official eyewitness to the shooting. Naturally, the police department will have a lot of questions about the superintendent's death. You saw everyone in the vicinity. It's possible that more than one person was involved.
Well, the only one that I can swear to is the one that pulled the trigger.
Oh, the superintendent wasn't without his enemies, and the police down there will have photographs they'll want you to look at. You know, people who might figure in a conspiracy. Well, in any case, we can hardly say no. I've already cleared your trip with New Mexico.
Marshal McCloud?
Yes, sir.
Inspector Hale.
How do you do, sir?
I have a car here to take you to your hotel.
Oh, thank you.
Look, if you feel after coming down to headquarters afterwards, we'd like to start this investigation just as soon as possible.
Well, that's all right with me. After 22 hours on that plane, I got all the sleep I can take anyway.
Yeah, I suppose you have.
Sam McCloud, the New York City policeman who gunned down the assassin who allegedly took the life of Police Superintendent Caldwell some 48 hours ago in the United States.
Well, it was worth a try. Putney here will take you back to your hotel.
No, now, wait a minute. Hold on. You fellas don't have to chauffeur me around. I can get a taxi.
Putney doesn't have anything else to do until he's reassigned. You see, he was the superintendent's driver.
Well, now, look, I'll do anything you fellas want me to do. Answer your questions, look at more pictures. You just call the shot.
Well, if anything comes up, we'll know where to find you. In the meantime, Putney will be happy to drive you around downtown.
Sure thing. Be glad to.
Inspector, I just found Charles Oakland, or what's left of him. You better come.
What's left of him? Come on.
Well, I reckon we better go with him, Putney.
I'm going to take you sightseeing.
You heard what he said, Charles Oakland. He's a suspect in our case.
Our case?
I figured that you'd want to see if I could identify this Charles Oakland any better in person rather than from a photograph. You know what I mean?
Sure. Good idea, McCloud. Go ahead.
I'll just wait outside, Marshal.
No, I can't say as I know, fella.
What's the word, Doc?
Skipper at the marina went down to check out a sticky rudder. Found the remains jammed under the stern.
That all that's left?
That's the lot. I'd say he'd been in the water about 2 days.
Would you be able to say if he was alive or dead before they got at him?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, stay with the Doc. Keep me posted.
Who was he?
Ran one of the biggest gaming houses in Sydney. Plus a few pet projects, all illegal. Very independent and very tough when anyone disputed his territorial imperative.
Have you got some kind of range war going on here? I mean, by that...
I have to explain we are in to Roy Rogers. It's just that I don't know how to answer you. There are things going on, and I'm just not at liberty to acknowledge them, since you'll be heading home soon anyway.
Yeah, well, I guess you're right. Officer?
Putney. Call me Putney. Everyone does.
Well, I suppose we ought to get out of the inspector's hair. Nice meeting you.
Sure. After that, you might not want to go straight back to your hotel room. If you've tried Australian beer.
No, can't say as I have.
Oh, Putney, why don't you give the marshal a little taste of the land? We don't want to send him home unopened.
Appreciate your thought, Inspector. Oh, feeling better?
McGee tells me we've solved my demise.
If they believe you are dead, they might just make the wrong move and might even get a bit too careless.
And as you've undoubtedly heard, one of our suspects turned up in Sydney Harbor without his body.
Ugly business, isn't it? And by the way, this McCloud, I've heard he has a tendency to get involved. If he starts prying, he could muck things up.
But the problem is, I shouldn't become directly involved with him.
Oh, why don't I handle him?
That's a good idea. We don't want him stumbling around while we're trying to find out what's going on.
Now tell me, this heart attack that Oakland had, you buy that?
We'll never really know, will we? The key question is, who is behind this unholy marriage? We know Alex Demery is here to put pressure on our local hardware to give your mafia a foothold. Oakland is dead. We have a man named Sinclair. He's a bad one. It could be him. If it is, we must prove it and stop it.
Sorry, Mr. Clifford.
Council's over. Super's got a rest.
I'll stop by in the morning, see if we can map something out.
Peter, you've had trouble fighting this gangster's cancer in your own country. It's infected your unions, your police forces, even your government. It's an incurable disease. And don't give it to us. We fought hard to keep it out.
Alex Demery represents everything that's rotten in America. I put my life on the line to keep him from exporting his bag of tricks.
I hope it doesn't come to that. But from what I've heard, it could.
You're looking good. Want to see?
Chief, what's the key to this McCloud? What's the best way to handle him?
Now, that's a question that cost me a lot of sleep. Now, the only way to handle him is get rid of him. Now, he's looked through the local police department photographs, come up with no leads, so his usefulness is over. Get him on the first airplane home.
Okay. I'll drop by his hotel first thing in the morning.
I don't think I'd do that, McGee. You know, he's from America's frontier, up before the chickens and all that. Well, he could be off and sleuthing before you've cocked your toothbrush.
Oh, uncivilized.
Now, you got it. That's McCloud.
Yesterday evening, Superintendent Caldwell of the New South Wales Police Department was killed shortly after arriving in New York for consultations with American police authorities. Today, the coffin and the body of the superintendent arrived back in Sydney.
You him.
With the coffin arrived
You
Marshal
him.
Sam McCloud, who is on temporary duty with the New York
One that got the
Police
guy that
Force.
got the super.
The marshal was on duty at the airport.
Oh, yeah, well.
Hey, everybody, shut up. You hear me? Shut up. This is him. The guy you just saw. The guy shot it out with that killer in New York City. The one got our police super. Well, I'll buy anything you want.
Ah, forget it. This guy's got a permanent tab on the house. What'll you drink?
2 beers.
Found out, however, that Marshal McCloud is here for
I'm with him.
questioning and identification.
In Sydney Yacht Basin this afternoon, skin divers recovered additional evidence of a macabre end to one of the most colourful figures on the local scene. Charles Oakland, often linked to underworld gambling activities, apparently suffered a heart attack and fell from a boat in Sydney Harbour. Details are sketchy at this hour as to when Oakland died or what brought him into the harbour, but so far police indicate the coroner has ruled out foul play. The single largest question remaining, why no one bothered to report Oakland missing? There is speculation.
Okay, you made a believer of me.
Taken over by
And Mr. Oakland. What do you have?
Gin.
The body of New South Wales Police Superintendent Harold Caldwell returned home to Sydney today. Funeral services will be held the day after tomorrow.
Not the neatest job I ever heard of.
Leader in the effort to keep on.
Well, you take aim at a bull elephant. Neatness is the least of your concerns.
Where he travelled for meetings.
Look, we want to be in Australia. And we've needed a local man to do business, to front for us.
Confidential. The assassination is a little
Welcome to the family.
A possible security link within the New South
It's
Wales
just the beginning.
Sam McCloud, a New Mexico marshal temporarily on assignment in New York, gunned down the assassin who allegedly took the life of Police Superintendent Caldwell some 48 hours ago in the United States.
What's the matter?
Marshal arrived in Sydney today but declined to say why he was in town. He was welcomed by Inspector Hale, immediately whisked off to police headquarters.
Yesterday's news. We gotta talk about tomorrow.
You know, I hate to admit this, but maybe spending all that time on Blaine might have had some effect on me. I'm a little bit sleepy.
It could be the Aussie brew, too. I suppose I should have mentioned it. In the US, it's 3 proof. Here, it's 12.
Well, it does warm up your innards, all right.
Congratulations. He didn't back out.
No, everything went precisely as planned, with one exception. Demery wants one more man dead.
Who?
Sam McCloud.
Who?
The New York cop.
What for? We go killing another cop, it could buy a lot of trouble.
I want him dead. I don't care how neat it is. Now, tonight.
I decide how and when.
Look, we got the world by the tail. We're in the catbird seat, but there's a devil in the dream. His name is McCloud. He's got to die tonight, or we could be out of business by morning.
Is that important?
Believe it. You know how to find him?
Now, this is a real good yank. Now, usually he gets back tomorrow night. Some of the fellas are a bit hurt because he cut it short.
No, I got it. Okay, I got it. There you go.
Yeah, I'll tell him, if he ever wakes up.
I want to feel my saddle horse between my legs, back a riding on the Texas range. Just kick him in the side, show there's some pride back on the open range.
Look, will you take it easy, Marshal? I've been in this job too long to lose my pension now. Right. Now, Marshal, you just climb into bed and get a good night's sleep. You'll feel a lot better in the morning.
Listen, I feel all right now. Here. All I need is a little fresh air.
Outside on the balcony.
Now, wait a minute, partner. You think I'm messing around with your wife? I got some big bankroll on me. You're dead wrong.
Nice choice, Dad.
Marshal? Marshal?
Who are you?
It's all right, I'm on your side. My name's Jennifer McGee. Oh, never mind who I am. Who was that?
I didn't get his name.
You hurled a perfect stranger off your balcony?
Well, what do Australians throw off their balconies? Friends?
Good point.
Hey, stop the car. Chief Clifford! Hey, turn this thing around.
I'm in the center line.
You're gonna lose him. Will you turn this thing around?
I can't break the law.
Well, why not? It's a police car, isn't it? Haven't you got a siren on this thing? Hey, Chief, what are you doing in Australia? Oh, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. The outfit fooled me. I don't see how I could have been so wrong. It was his spitting image.
Yes.
My chief, back in New York. Of course, maybe we could have gotten the wrong cab.
Thought you came alone.
Yeah, I did.
We could keep checking taxis if you like.
No, that's no good. It just hasn't been my day, that's all.
Marshal, we understand the man you threw off the building may be involved in the murder of Superintendent Colville.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Any idea why he tried to kill you?
We didn't discuss it, no.
Did he think that you could recognize him from the shooting in New York?
Well, if he did, he was wrong.
How many are there, Marshal?
Identification on the body led us to an address in Paddington Street. We found that there. Says a lot.
That the man attacked you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Ever seen before last night?
No, not that I can recall.
If you check the last entry, you'll find the man flew to New York before Superintendent Caldwell and departed an hour or so after the shooting.
Well, that seems to close that chapter. Sorry to harass you, Marshal. Just wanted to be sure you didn't get any privileged treatment just because you're some sort of police officer.
I understand.
But at least we can be reasonably certain now that this man is linked to Superintendent Caldwell's death. So we won't be needing you any further. Thanks for your time and for making that long trip.
Glad to be of service. See you around.
We'll be back to your motel, Marshal. Oh, and coordinate getting him to the airport, too, Putney. We don't want to make the Marshal dependent on taxis.
There you go.
Marshal.
Wow.
You're leaving.
Yeah, I reckon my work's over. At least my welcome is.
I just thought I'd come and say goodbye.
Oh, that's very nice of you. You know, I asked for you in the hotel there. They'd never heard of you.
Oh, really? I guess it was a new man.
Yeah, well, that was one of two possibilities that crossed my mind.
What was the other one?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I just barely have time to catch my plane.
Well, Marshal, once again, it's been a pleasure meeting you. And on behalf of the hotel, I'd like to wish you a pleasant...
It's been my pleasure, ma'am. Pull up in this alley here.
But your plane, sir.
Huh?
Your plane.
Oh, that's all right. I always leave a lot of time to catch a plane. Just follow that cab there, Putney. Be right back, Putney.
All right. I was sent to keep an eye on you, but not by the gangsters that killed our superintendent.
Our superintendent?
Oh, you're going to get me into a lot of trouble.
Last night you tried to tell me you were a hotel detective. Are you trying to say you're a member of the police force?
Dr. Barrington, call X-ray. Dr. Barrington, call X-ray.
What can I say? I'm sorry. Feel like a bull in a prize flower bed.
You take the prize, all right.
You're about prettiest bird dog I've ever met.
Well, thank you.
Well, I got a plane to catch. Since you're the only loose end, no offense.
Radiology.
Made the front page again, Marshal. Another week of this, you could run for Parliament.
Young sharks found dead in harbor. That's where Oakland was killed.
Well, it's been a stimulating conversation, Marshal. We must do it again sometime.
Putney. Put my bags back in the car.
But your plane, sir.
Well, there'll be another one along. I gotta go to the Sydney University.
Why? What for?
I have a hunch that could be important to our case.
McCloud, I have strict orders to stay with you until you're safely on that aircraft.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you stay with me? Putney, let's go to the university.
Of all the jackass plays, I said no more violence. The cowboy didn't know anything. There was no reason to kill him.
Well, it was Long's neck on the line. I guess he wasn't willing to accept our word that the cowboy hadn't seen him in New York.
When I pass you inside information from the police department, for which we have paid dearly, I expect you to act on it.
Look, I can't be responsible for a guy like
Hey, there you're wrong, my little man. You're in our team. You're a team player. No bush league plays. No calling your own signals. I go to this guy Sinclair.
All right, but I think you're making a lot out of nothing. We've done what we set out to do. There's nobody left in our way.
Alf? Oh, excuse me. I thought you'd like to know. I just heard the most incredible news.
Honey, we're busy. I don't think you met Mr. Demery, my wife, Carol.
My pleasure.
Harold Caldwell isn't dead.
That's really absurd. I'm to attend his funeral tomorrow.
Well, there may be a funeral, but he's not going to be there. Apparently it had something to do with this special anti-gangster thing he was setting up here and in New York. Look, I could call Madge myself if you'd like. Well, this is the kind of thing you should be informed of, isn't it?
Well, why don't you let me handle it, dear? I'm sure there are any number of good reasons why it's being kept under wraps. After all, somebody did try to kill Harold.
Oh, gosh, that's right. And here I am shooting off my big mouth.
Well, fortunately, it's only in this room amongst the three of us, but I wouldn't say any more about it.
No, well, I won't say a word. Let me know if you guys want lunch, huh?
I don't know how to explain it. Long was always reliant. Yeah, but too much faith in him.
Maybe we all misplaced our faith.
We're still in business. What can Caldwell be doing if he's all shot up?
It's too late for me to stop the wheels I put in motion, Alfie. All I can do is keep the tracks clear of debris.
I'll handle it.
Dr. Hart, let me ask you one question, a hypothetical one, and off the record.
Hypothetical?
Now, in recent years, we've come across some exotic chemicals in police work. Things that could induce a heart attack in a man. At least give the appearance of a heart attack without leaving any trace of the chemical in the system.
I've read about such things.
If a man died of such a solution and was subsequently ingested by a shark, do you suppose the shark would suffer the same fate?
You see, Professor, we believe that a man was poisoned, fell into the water, and then killed by the sharks.
Captain, I've already taken position on this case. It's in the paper. What you suggest would be impossible to prove.
But not impossible to happen.
I think we've gone about as far as we can with this.
You've been very helpful.
There he is again. Chief! Chief Crawford!
Oh, not again.
Follow that car, Putney. I know I'm right this time. There couldn't be two just like him.
Stay right where you are, Putney.
Let's go, Putney.
I'm sorry, sir. She outranks you.
What's the matter with you? That's my chief. I just want to find out what's going on here.
Look, we agreed to come over here to follow up on your hunch. That seems sensible. But to go chasing halfway around Sydney after some apparition doesn't.
Professor Hart, is it?
What do you want?
My name is Marshal McCloud. I'm working with the Sydney police here. I wanted to ask you about this article.
The sharks died of pollution, not from eating people.
People?
It's all there. I don't care to discuss it any further.
Yeah, but you said people. As far as I know, there's only one person that's died of shark wounds, leastwise since I've been here.
Between the 3 dead sharks I examined, I found evidence of 3 human foot extremities. Now, that doesn't sound like any single person I know.
He was describing my partner, Eric Taylor.
The other shark victim?
We were on special assignment, photographing a yachting party. Top gangsters all. We were there when Charles Oakland fell overboard. It started a feeding frenzy, almost capsized our boat.
Your partner was a young fellow that you visited in the hospital.
He's so dedicated. I'd like to be able to tell him that his sacrifice did some good, but it didn't. We lost all our equipment, all the photographs and all the tapes.
Of what?
Of Australia being invaded by your American gangsters. We've kept them out for a long time, but now they're getting inside hell. We don't know from where. We would have if we hadn't lost the photographs.
Well, you took the pictures, you'd recognize them again if you see them.
All except for one man. He undoubtedly holds the key to everything, and we've lost it.
Well, you found it once, we can find it again.
McCloud, you're going to the airport. Those are my orders.
Mine too.
Yeah, that's right. Just as soon as we check this young lady over.
Well, well, well. This is a nice surprise.
Not as nice a surprise as I got when I heard the good news.
Not on the news report, I hope.
Afraid the girls can't keep a secret. Madge to Florence to Carol. But I don't think any damage is done. Is there anything I can do?
No, no. I'm on the mend. It'll be a while before I'm up and about, of course. Meanwhile, it's rest and recuperation.
But I'm glad to hear that. I know you. I was afraid you'd try to keep your hand in at the department.
No, 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 no. I know when to follow doctor's orders. I had a very close call.
Good news, Harold. I think I may have a breakthrough.
Sorry. Didn't realize you had company.
That's all right. Alf Donnelly, Peter B. Clifford, Chief of Detectives, New York City.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Alf is a pillar of local government, chairman of our police board.
Feeling a little left out of things at the moment.
Oh, it wasn't a selective process, Alf. Everybody was cut out.
Certainly not the department.
Only my special anti-gangster task force knows I'm alive. It was necessary.
Why?
Because we turned up evidence. 1 or 2 individuals in the department could be working for the other side. Don't look shocked. The American syndicate looks upon Australia as a billion-dollar expansion. They want to move in here, dump their illegal money in legitimate enterprises, slowly build up a base from which they can infiltrate all levels of government and industry, as successfully as they have in the States.
That's quite an indictment.
They're a hell of an organization.
Well, I'm sorry the good news is tempered by such bad news. But I think the first thing for you to do is to regain your health, Harold. You're no good to us dead. Well, I'll leave you 2 gentlemen to talk, so you let me know if there's anything I can do. Nice meeting you, Mr. Clifford.
My pleasure.
Thank you for stopping by, Alf. He's a good man. He's come a long way since he came to Australia. I didn't want to leave him out, but we couldn't make exceptions. Now, tell me what you found out at the university.
Excuse me, I need a shot of water.
Mr. Donnelly. Jennifer McGee, Section 4 Special Assignment. You spoke at our commissioning.
Oh, yes, Miss McGee, you're the one who asked all the awkward questions.
All in the line of duty?
Yes. Well, I really must be running.
You should meet Marshal McCloud. I suppose you know about him.
Oh, yes. How do you do?
It's a pleasure.
Marshal, this is Mr. Alfred Donnelly. He's chairman of the Police Advisory Board.
Nice to meet you. You ever been to New York?
New York?
Yeah, it seems like we've crossed trails someplace before.
Well, must have been. I was there a few months ago.
Oh, I was New York.
If you'll excuse me, Miss McGee, nice meeting you, Marshal.
Yeah, small world.
I wonder when he had time to go to New York. He must be the busiest man in Sydney.
Alf, what are you doing with a gun?
Nothing that concerns you, dear.
What concerns you concerns me. What's wrong?
Well, I didn't want to worry you, but the people who shot at Harold Caldwell may be a threat to me, and Harold thought that I should take some precautions.
Who would want to hurt you?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the work I've been doing at the Police Advisory Board. There's nothing to worry about. Harold is just being overly cautious. I've got to run.
Wait a minute. There's something you're not telling
I've
me.
told you
Now, what is
everything.
it?
Just forget it. Don't worry.
Don't you brush me off like that. Now, I know something's going on. What is it?
It's everything. You look around you. Everything you see.
What does that mean?
I don't particularly care to lose it, do you?
Alf, you're not making any sense. Lose it how?
Marshal Sam McCloud.
Well, that guy on TV, what does he have to do with
He's from
us?
New Mexico. Well, now, think hard. The old prosecutor in Albuquerque was named McCloud. He had a son who was bailiff during my hearing. He saw me every day for 6 days.
But that was 15 years ago. He couldn't possibly remember.
A law officer from Podunk, not remembering the disappearance of the biggest land promoter in the Southwest, not remembering my wife's body being found floating in the family swimming pool, a questionable suicide, and not remembering a statewide manhunt, my picture on every newspaper and handbill. I think it'll come to him, Carol. I think the chances are that he'll remember.
Alf, listen, this could be a blessing in disguise. I've always said we should never have run away. Look, the only thing you're guilty of is loving me. Or maybe this McCloud being here is just what we needed.
What are you talking about?
Well, we've made a good life here, haven't we? Alf, let's go home. We could clear your name and build a good life there.
Are you crazy? Half of Albuquerque lost money on my deal. And if they don't get me for that, there's still a small matter of a murder warrant hanging over my head.
But you didn't kill her, Alf. You're a good man. They'll believe you.
Oh, come on, Carol, please.
What you've done here, you can do there.
Carol, I'm not a saint.
Oh, Alf, please, let's go home.
Let's go home. That's all I hear from you. Let's go home. You stop it. I've heard it 1,000 times. Get off my back.
Why can't we go home?
Because I'm in the mafia. Now, they put a lot of money in me because they thought I had clean hands. If they find out my hands are dirty, that I've deceived them, my life won't be worth the price of a bullet. Is that what you want, a bullet through my head?
No.
Then shut up about going home.
So what's the verdict?
He says my head is made out of rock. You can't hurt it.
Good. Well, let's get rolling then. I got to call New York and find out what's going on here. Let's
You
see.
can save the department's money, McCloud. Marshal McCloud, I'd like you to meet Superintendent Caldwell.
How do you do? Thank you for saving my life, Marshal. I'm very grateful.
I didn't realize I had.
Well, now you know the truth about me and your chief's presence here. It's even more imperative that you leave Sydney immediately, as though all your work here were finished.
Well, now, under the circumstances, if there's any way that
No,
I can
McCloud,
be
no. No, you see, it's best for the people we're looking for to think that our investigation is completely out of leads.
And with you out of the way, we can get back to our task force. Hope to catch our quarry with their pants down.
Yeah, well, if you fellas have everything under control, there's nothing for me to do but get on the plane.
You've said that before.
Well, this time there's nothing to keep me. Is there?
No, not really. Except to the best of my knowledge, it'd probably be late afternoon before you could get on a plane. I don't suppose anyone would object to our grabbing a bite of lunch before you went?
Keep it under 3 courses.
There you go. Where do you recommend we go to get something to eat in a hurry?
Before you decide, that was left on the windshield for you.
Who left it, you know?
Don't know, sir. I went away for all of 5 minutes. It was there when I returned.
What is it?
Is there a place in the vicinity of the Opera House where we can get something to eat?
Oh, there's a restaurant right at the Opera House.
And it's one of Sydney's most famous landmarks. You really should see it before you go.
Well, let's do it. Let's see it.
What does the note say?
What note? 2, please.
This way, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite a spot here. Thank you. It's all right for you?
Oh, couldn't be nicer. What did the note say?
Oh, let's don't have little old piece of paper come between us. Excuse me a minute, would you?
Don't tell me. You're going to wash your hands.
I'll be back in a jiffy. Why don't you just order something special for us?
You'll get a lovely surprise when you come back.
There you go.
Putney, what did the note say?
It wasn't addressed to me, ma'am.
Putney, are you a good cop or not?
Yes, ma'am, but...
Oh, well, a good cop notices everything. Like what the note on his own windscreen had to say?
I did sort of glance at it to see who it was from.
Putney.
It said, if the marshal wanted to know who killed Superintendent Caldwell, to come to the main concourse between the sails in front of the Opera House and to come alone or not at all.
Oh, wonderful. You know who's going to catch it if this cowboy gets into trouble. Better call in. Nothing. But on the other hand... I've got to go. I hear shooting.
Shooting? Shooting? Peter, I'm on my way.
He tried to bushwhack me.
He tried to what?
Gun me down, kill me.
Why? Well, why would anyone do that? You said you don't know any.
Well, I didn't think I did. Looks like I might have a key to the whole mess. Taxi!
Now, where are you going?
The hotel.
Now, wait a minute. You are going to the airport.
That's right. Just as soon as I find out who tried to gully jump me.
You tried to what?
Where is he?
Where's McCloud?
I asked first.
Who's he?
Right, don't answer that, Putney. That's an order.
An order, and who the hell are you?
Don't answer that either. Anybody hurt?
No. Someone tried to bushwhack McCloud, opened fire on him. McCloud had him nailed, but I got in the way.
Good work. What about the assailant? Did he get away clean?
Yes, but I could follow McCloud if I leave right now.
Now, damn it, wait a minute. Now, what exactly is going on here? And anyone who doesn't give me a straight answer, go straight to jail.
Well, from what I understand, officer, there's been a shooting. I suggest you check it out.
Hold it, you.
Before you go any further, I think you better talk to your chief.
I really think you ought to, sir.
Watch him.
Yes. What do you mean you're calling a meeting? I've got things to do. Well, what makes you think I had anything to do with that? All right. Where?
Could I have the key to 1507, please?
And this came in for you a few minutes ago.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me. Can you tell me where this place is?
It's across town. If you're going by taxi, he won't have any trouble finding it.
Thank you. Here's your key. You sure this is the place?
That's what it says.
What's this all about? Is he dead?
No, just unconscious.
Who's responsible for this?
You're responsible for it. You've been trying to kill this cop, haven't you?
I didn't do this.
But you shot up the opera house this morning.
Now, why would I do that? Why would I risk a reputation we've all spent 10 years trying to establish?
I can only guess. He's got something on you.
Oh, come on, he just got here.
Your muscle man fell from this cop's window. The description of the man who tried to shoot up the cowboy today matches you. As if you know enough to draw the comparison.
This is ridiculous. Whose description?
An eyewitness. An eyewitness who works for Superintendent Colwell's Special Anti-Organized Crime Force.
And this witness named me?
The description fits. Or it could fit lots of people, unless you knew where to begin. We knew.
So you knew? I did it to protect all of us. The organization has a sizable investment in me. 10 years of work trying to set me up to where I could influence legislation, where I could buy votes with favors. I couldn't throw that away. They wouldn't want me to.
The trouble is, you're just amateur enough to get yourself caught. You don't strike me as the type to keep his mouth shut.
I would. I swear I would.
No, I'm afraid Caldwell would make you a deal that'd have you selling out everyone we got. It's taken us 10 years to get a foothold here, to be ready for our move. We let you spoil it. Our heads will roll. You gotta die.
Oh, please. Please don't do this. There are other ways. My position is unique. You have no one to take my place. It would take you years. Please. I'm begging you, please! You're gonna kill both of us?
No. No, the bosses back in the States decided we had too much invested in you. You're the boy who leads the parade. Pity. I'd much rather you were the sacrificial lamb than him. Now get out of here.
What do I do? I don't understand what's supposed to happen.
Read about it in the papers.
If it hadn't been for Hale there, it would be me that was dead instead of Demery. How'd you find this party, anyway?
That was you. I was checking out every cab driver in Sydney trying to find you. Chief, I'm sorry I rattled you around the Opera House like that. The superintendent just set me straight. Chewed my head off is what he did.
An apology is the last thing you owe anybody. It was a good bit of police work.
You know, I can't help but wonder what it was Demery thought I knew.
You don't recall seeing him around the airport in New York?
Oh, he couldn't have been. He was one of the men on the boat under investigation. We checked his passport. He never left Australia.
Well, whatever it was you knew, McCloud, it managed to wrap up the case for us.
Well, still it gives a fellow kind of an incomplete feeling not knowing how he solved the case.
Well, if it's any consolation, McCloud, I've always thought your methods were a little incomplete. You too, for that matter. How is your head?
Felt better.
McGee, I want you to see that this man gets one good night of R&R, then get him on that airplane first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. You know, you really should stay. Tomorrow's a big celebration in Sydney, the Australia Day Parade.
The only parade I want to see is me and that 6-foot side of beef climbing up that boarding ladder at 11 a.m. sharp. Comprende?
Comprendo.
Oh. Take the rest of the day off.
TAA flight number 306 to Perth, presently boarding at Terminal 8.
Well, I guess there's no point in saying we'll never see each other again.
Well, I don't know. You never can tell.
Oh, yes, you can. And no, you won't ever see each other again. That is, officially. Unless the Taos Police Department decides to send you back down here, and I suspect that's a long shot.
Well, Sam, guess as this moment will have to last us for the rest of our lives, might as well make the most of it.
Chief, excuse me, could I borrow this a minute? I'll give it back to you. Just a second. Just a minute.
I'll say you will.
Excuse me, just a minute. Chief, I've seen this man someplace before.
And so have I, in Superintendent Caldwell's hospital room.
No, I've seen him on a mugshot someplace.
McCloud, you've looked at hundreds of mugshots since you came to Australia, maybe thousands.
It wasn't in Australia. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a mugshot that I saw him. It was a handbill.
A wanted poster on a tree, no doubt.
Chief, this man's wanted for murder.
McCloud?
Putney! Come on! Come on!
What about your plan?
Give the man back his paper.
the Grand Marshal and stole his wife's horse.
Superintendent, it's a little difficult to explain McCloud to a foreigner. Non-American. It's a little difficult for me to understand him myself.
Driver, pull out and follow them.
Wait a minute.
Somebody could get killed.
Was a beautiful piece of forward line work by the Sydney players. What's this? What the name of goodness is happening here at the Sydney Showground today? There's two men on horseback. Ladies and gentlemen, the game has come to a complete halt. There are two men on horseback. One's obviously chasing the other. They've circled the far goal posts on the Melbourne end of the ground. They're returning. Are giving chase. We've seen plenty of things happen in the past, but never anything like this. Now one of them's pulled a pistol, and he's shooting at the other. Now one of the players has kicked the revolver from his hand with a beautiful drive. Now the other man on horseback has dislodged his counterpart. They're in the net on the Sydney end. The net's collapsed on top of them. Goodness gracious me, what a match this has turned out to be. The police have arrived now. Well, heavens above, I don't know what to think. I've seen plenty of things in sport, but never anything like this at the Sydney Showground this afternoon.
Repercussions of the incident continue to be felt as it was revealed that Alfred Donnelly would turn state's evidence against every member of the syndicate, which had apparently spent millions to gain a foothold here in Australia, once again in vain.
Tracked down Albert Donahue, wanted for murder in New Mexico.
Looks like you've become something of a celebrity, Marshal.
With everyone but the football team.
Yeah, you know, people down here are real nice. I could take a real liking to this place, I could.
That would be good news.
Don't worry, Harold. I'll personally see to it he's on that plane if I have to stand here with him all night.
Chief, if you're going to do that, you're going to have something to drink. And I'm going to buy you something that's harmless. Give the chief an Australian beer.
Sure. Australian beer? Oh, that sounds interesting. But no way are you going to buy, McCloud. Drinks are on me.
Hey, did you hear that, boys? The drinks are on the chief.